People work harder, results stay flat. The calendar fills, the anxiety grows, yet the actual contribution becomes harder to identify. This is the trap. Activity starts replacing progress. Busyness starts replacing clarity. The person is running with intensity, but not direction. And once effort becomes a substitute for definition, structural failure becomes invisible. The problem persists because motion feels productive. Intelligent people believe more volume will compensate for vague goals. So when clarity disappears, they increase effort instead of redefining the objective. Hard work becomes a shield against hard thinking. But if the target itself is undefined, every action fragments. The issue is not commitment, the issue is structural ambiguity at the beginning. This is where most people freeze. But at Solver's Studio, we go to our toolkit, the Solver's 6. The discipline here is first principles, clarity. This tool strips away assumptions and inherited definitions. It forces the problem down to its irreducible purpose. We stop asking how to work harder. We ask, what is the non-negotiable function of this effort? Clarity comes before execution. Otherwise, volume only amplifies confusion. First, discard the existing definition of success. If writing a book feels overwhelming, the goal is not word count. The first principle is simpler. Deliver one clear idea to one specific reader. That changes everything. The focus shifts from visible activity to measurable impact. Next, define the fundamental input required. If the goal is communicating a clear idea, the required input is simple: a consistent writing session. Not motivation, not perfect output, just execution of the core function. Everything outside that input becomes secondary. Finally, measure adherence to inputs, not obsession with outputs. Do not track total word count first. Track whether the writing session happened. If the input is correct and repeated consistently, the output follows. This rebuilds work around cause and effect instead of emotional effort. Discard assumptions, define the fundamental input, measure adherence to inputs. This is the shift from activity to clarity. Old definition removed, core principle defined, execution measured correctly. The system becomes stable because the target becomes precise. The same failure appears after promotions. A worker enters a new role but keeps using the old definition of success. They work longer hours, respond faster, increase effort. But the new role may require leadership, delegation, or complexity management. The old inputs no longer produce results. First principles forces a reset. Define the true function of the role, identify the core input, measure adherence to that new principle. Only then does effort regain direction. Effort without definition creates exhaustion. Clarity is the structural pause before execution. This discipline reduces complexity into one solvable truth. Once the principle is correct, action regains precision. The goal is not to work endlessly. The goal is to finally work on the right thing.